Hey, what's up, guys? Mike's here. Alright, are we going for right now for reading the next chapter of Shut Up and Dance with Me? Yes? Okay, because we're about to get a little bit going crazy with this chapter 8, and it's Shut Up and Dance. Yeah, Walk the Moon is kind of like a good band from it. That's one of their most popular songs. So long as the song One Foot is out there, it's good. We're not gonna get into that little Walk the Moon and One Foot and all that stuff because we're talking about the Voltron, okay? We're talking about plans here and all that other stuff. So let's hop on in and let's go to chapter 8. So let's do this. Let's do this. Group chat. Family barbecue. Today's menu, spit roasted squad. Alright, I need to know who's here. So, roll call time. Sound off, nerds. I'll start. Pidge. Hunk. Keith. Lance, aka the man in your dreams. More like nightmares. No, what, Keith? You're absolutely right. I am. Yeah, this level of perfection is frightening. Amazing. Thank you. Alright, so Tweedledee and Tweedledum are here. Got it. Dibs on Tweedledee. What? No! You're totally Tweedledum. And why is that? He's just gonna say it's because you're dumb. Because I make you speechless. Wow. Yeah. I'm actually a little impressed. I actually have nothing to say then. Ha! I'm just so surprised you made an intelligent joke. But I'm sensing some sass over there, but I'm going to ignore it in favor of a compliment. Do what you gotta do to make yourself feel better. Anyway, can't you stop clogging up the chat long enough for me to figure out if the others are here? You're not my mom. Keith, I will beat your ass. I know where you live. Bring it, Munchkin. I pull out the mouse traps. I will murder your kneecaps. I'll stand on the table. I will climb up that beanpole physique to punch you in the jaw. Fight, fight, fight. I'll sit on you. Bitch, you weigh like 2 pounds. Not to be a buzzkill, cause, I love a good old-fashioned Pidge Keith beat down. But Keith is a heavy AF badass. Can't confirm, just because you have the outer-body strength of a deceased hamster. Excuse? So, you guys, I love you, and I love all your shenanigans. But I got a paper I need to write, and a lot of research to do for it. So can we, hurry this along? Sorry, buddy. No problem, dude. Lance gave a heart, and Hunk gives double hearts. What do you need, Pidge? Right. We are the more adulty adults. Pretty sure Shiro is working at the museum. Probably there were 2 then, because they usually try to line up their schedules. Basically married. Basically. Amen. I think it's cute. You would, you big softy. I can't help it. You don't need to help it. You're perfect, Hunk. Aww. I already told you I'm not making cookies tonight. Worth a shot. So, what about Coran? He's probably still at the studio. Dude's there all day. Yeah, but he usually checks his phone for messages, especially when he's got downtime in the office. It's Monday, right? Yep, and this paper, by the way, is due Friday, and Pidge is in his class too, so I know they should be working right now. You're not my mom. No work, no cookies. Pretty sure Coran's got some classes today. Damn it! What do you want to tell us? I can't now. Y'all gotta be here when I make the announcement. Otherwise, there won't be the proper mix of excitement and peer pressure. Plus, it'll just get loose by your constant blathering, and I can't be asked to get excited twice. Alright, so is this meeting done then? Postponed until further notice. Alright, want to meet in the living room to cross-examine sources? Sounds good. Great. Now that the nerds are gone, we can talk about cool things. How's it going, Keith? I'm out. Keith, no, wait! What? I'm bored. Not my problem. Why are you always so rude? Shiro didn't raise you this way. Shiro once told me that if I ate enough spiders, I could absorb their power and be like Spider-Man. Wow. How many spiders did you eat? I don't want to talk about it. Was it upwards of 10? I don't want to talk about it. Alright. But don't think I'm gonna let you forget about this? Wouldn't dream of it. Cool. So, you doing anything? Not really. Wanna play games? Yeah, sure. It's just basically Keith, Lance, Pidge, and Hunk. I mean, those are the only 4 on that chat that are here. And basically it's practically Monday and they're not here yet because they were too busy of their workings and just started to hang out or something. But they're not signing it. They just have to keep on let's keep all this revving out those engines, by the way. So it'll be probably worth it. But basically they're just Mom. All those 4, they are usually and be going on texting each other and see where their heads at. But Hunk has something else to do. Just working on papers and it's just research. Imagine Hunk, they're doing their own way. Shiro, Laura, Coran are quite busy. But it all comes down to Keith and Lance because both of them are just hanging out for them because no 15 Lance, just that little fun time, and they can't get along, but they will be in that otherwise, because when they're in this conversation, they just always kept talking. So, yeah. So that's what all this is. Group chat, family barbecue. Today's meeting, Spit Roast Squad. Alright, take 2. Sound off, nerds. 1, 2, 3. Alright, I've waited long enough. You literally waited 2 minutes. 2 minutes is an eternity in Pidge time. Trademark. Where are the others? Shiro? Laura? Keith? Ping ping, mother. I swear if you're all at the gym again. I believe Allura has a shift at the museum tonight. And you know that means she does. Because my man, Coran, has that crazy knack for remembering schedules. Thank you, Lance. Tonight is a part of her normal schedule. However, for what I remember her cooling out before she dashed out of the apartment, there were short staff at the museum tonight, so she had to rush over for a closing shift. Sorry, Pidge. Dare I even ask where the others are? I have no idea. Nor do I. 2 secs. What are you going to do? Text Matt. And, I take that as no luck. He's not answering me. That nerd is pretty much glued to his phone 24/7. You mean, like you? Or what can I say? The family resemblance is strong. In that case, if he's so glued to his phone, should you worry? Nah, I mean, probably not. Neither of them I'm answering, and typically that means they're having bro time. Trademark. Old man bro time. Trademark. Amen. Don't diss the importance of bro time. Trademark. You're right. I'm sorry for bringing dishonor to bros everywhere. It's okay. I forgive you, bro. Bro. God, you two are so gay. Just like Matt and Shiro. Jesus, why is everyone around me so gay? We flock to each other. Pidge, I've seen you with Keith. You guys are pretty gay too. All bromo, no romo. But I'm with Lance. They're probably doing old man road time, trademark. They lock themselves in their apartment. No phones, no girlfriends or boyfriends, and play, I don't know, Uno or something. Sounds riveting. Indeed. Sounds like a roaring good time. Just dudes being dudes. Oh my god, Coran. Did you just, like, half mean? I'm just so proud. Speaking of Pete, where's that nut? He's at work. What? What? That just had, like, no hesitation. So how do you know with a complete certainty that Keith was doing right now? Hold up. And Lance had sent an image. Aww, he looks so pissed. Nah, that's just his face. Rude. Nice of you to join us. I just wanted to say that Lance took that without my consent. You don't say. I could tell from the glare that you're giving the camera, or how you're flipping it off. Visually, it's a very endearing contrast between Keith's sour look and Lon's smile. Not to mention Keith's crude gesture and Lon's peace sign. A wonderful selfie, I say. Seconded. Thanks, Coran. Oh, I'm going to start a photo collection called Times I Surprised Keith and Look Stupid. I hate you. Yeah, sure. We can really feel the hate between you two. I, for one, only visit my mortal enemies at work. Hunk, don't let me like this. Why are you at the bookstore anyway? Who are you, and what you have done with Lance? I feel we should be questioning what he had done to Lance. Good point, Coran. Keith, whatever you're doing to Lance, it scares me, but I think it's for the best. It's not an easy job. I can't imagine it will be. Do you even know how long I've been trying to get him to read? Years. Years. Man. And I've been in the bookstore twice. Not sure whether I should be offended or not. It's always a safe bet to assume we're insulted. Keith, go back to shelving. And for your information, I'm here because Leo has turned to a book devouring beast and needed more books. He reads faster than Lance. That's not fair. He has more time. Leo's always been my favorite. Hunk! Besides you, Lance. Ah, Leo has a lot of potential. Pidge, don't. Don't what, Lance? I see you plotting in that ellipsis. I would never. I just see them as my own younger siblings. It wouldn't hurt to take them under my wing. Look at how lovely Sophie turned out. Sophie is a demon. She threatened to break my toes when all I did was tickle her. She makes me proud. She's been tainted, but you leave Leo alone. He's like a small version of Lance. Thank you. He makes me proud. Only more culture and polite. Shouldn't you be working? I am. No, you're not. Put your phone away. Make me. My name is Keith, and I here make Lance my official spokesman for the group chat while I'm working. Awesome. Thank you, Keith. I'm so honored. No problem, Lance. You're just the most handsome and charming and funny and qualified person for the job. I know. Lance, finger guns. Oh, Lance. You're so cool. Glad you're finally coming around. Yeah. So I'm just gonna leave the group chat for a while. I've got, stuff to do. I'm already ahead of you. Same. I don't need to sit here and watch Lance talk to himself. Okay, but for real, he wants to know what your announcement was, Pidge. Nope, not. The moment's passed and we're missing our parents. Boo, you whore. Go ask Keith about the time he thought he was secretly doing Mothman. Oh, I'm so on it. But that would not be necessary. So they're still not here. They are still shifting, focusing on it, and Lance and Keith are getting into them much better and being a great duo. That is. So yeah, fresh, great taste, and that was really nice. So I have like a beer can of whatever this is, not sponsored because it tastes good. Oh, it tastes good. This is not a sponsor, so if this would have been a sponsor, well, you gotta send me more of those. Family barbecue. Today's menu is spit roasted squat. It's been abnormally quiet here. Terrified as everyone is here. I am. Present. I'm here. What's up, Pidge? Are you still trying to make that announcement? Yes. So far, all my attempts have been thwarted. Thwarted is such a lovely and underused word. Agreed. Petition to use the word thwarted more. Petition signed. What announcement is this? Young Pidge here has been attempting to gather all of us at once to make some sort of announcement. Yeah, you've been gone both times. Shiro was gone too. Yeah, someone is always missing. Getting you all together at the same time is surprisingly difficult. I wouldn't think it would be that hard. Lost in the universe, Shiro. I want you all together, therefore it's going to be as difficult as possible. Cold, hard truth. Can't be helped. Proven fact. Oh, well, I'm here now. Same. I'll be glad to hear your announcement, Pidge. Thank you. We told you before that we were willing to listen. Yeah, but you weren't all here. You still could have told us. And I told you that I need everyone to be present to A, keep from repeating myself, and B, use the group hype and peer pressure against sticks in the mud like you. I changed my mind. I don't want to hear this announcement. Too late. I can't leave. You won't. Try me, short stuff. Keep, behave, and let Pidge speak. Thanks, Dad. Don't call me Dad. 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 Nope. Yeah. What? Yeah, it's weird when you two say who? You and Coran. Anyway, does this thing have anything to do with what Matt won't tell me because I quote, if I tell you first, Pidge will kill me mercilessly and without remorse and probably with a blunt, easily disposable object. So until then, I'm keeping my height to myself. Yes, good to know he's abiding by my threats. So, what's going on, Pidge? Does this have anything to do with yours and Hunk's duo performance? I hope not. I haven't heard anything. No, it has nothing to do with that. What about the robotics project you've been working on for grad school? Nope, Rover is unfortunately not functional yet. Dang it. You had a breakthrough with your Tay work? Oh, hell no. Those idiots are hopeless. Is this a family-related announcement? Sort of. When did this turn into a guessing game? Since we started asking questions and you started answering. Of course. Have you heard more chatter through the radio? Unfortunately, negative. Damn it. Radio chatter? Pidge is monitoring for alien activity. Are they now? Don't patronize me, Dad. Fascinating. Might I ask what frequencies you're using? And the medium for amplifying your signal receiver? Not to interrupt, but we're kind of forgetting someone. Oh. Oops. Oh, drat. I knew it was too silent in this chat earlier. No, sorry. I'm drawing a blank. Lance. Doesn't ring a bell. Where is he anyway? He's like always glued to his phone when he's at home. I'm not sure. I haven't heard from him all day. Maybe he's been reading. You know, I might have once poked fun at him for that, but now it might be a possibility. Hunk's right. It's not as fun anymore. I'm so proud of him. He's grown so much. You've been a good influence on him. Yo, I got a ping. What's up? And make it quick. I'm on a time crunch. Pidge wants to make an announcement. Oh, That one they've been talking about for like 2 days, apparently. Lance, it's very important that you're here for this announcement. You got time? I need you committed. Why is Lance so important? Just much? In your dreams. In my dreams, you're doing an interpreted dance to my greatness. I'm curious too. Why is Lance so important to the announcement? He's my main hype man. Oh yeah, he's very good at that. I definitely don't want to know now. Shut your trap, mullet. Well, now that we're all here, shall we commence with the announcement? No can do. Rain check. What? Why? Bitch, if you want me to do you any justice as your hype man, you'll call a rain check. I don't have time to devote the time and energy that you deserve at the moment. What's going on, dude? I may or may not be hiding in the closet right now. Oh boy, dude. Not like that. I am literally hiding in the closet because someone pinged me and I need a safe place to hide. I feel like I'm missing something. Lance, what's going on? Don't go all dead on me, Shiro. I'm babysitting. I don't mean to question your methods, Lance, but from a closet? It's not what it looks like. I'm watching the younger four. Aren't there a younger five? Yeah, but that little Ollie is still with his mom. It's just the four. I'm still trying to figure out how the closet fits into this. I hope Leo and Sophie locked you in there. Not a chance. We're in the middle of war. Nerf war. As in Nerf guns? And all other Nerf accessories. Leo has a bow and arrow, and Abby has a slingshot. You sound like an amazing babysitter, Lance. Thanks, babe. Wish we had those back in my day. Use actual slingshots, sticks, and paintball guns. In the house? Damn, Coran, you go hard. Thank you, Lance. I think. So, Leo and Sophie basically got you pinned down? No, not even. They don't even know I'm here. I could text them. Don't you dare! Are you losing to a bunch of kids? It's 4 against 1, Keith. The little ones have no mercy and the bigger ones are sneaky. I'm so disappointed in you right now. I see how you and Shiro are siblings now. Hunk, you busy, buddy? Not at the moment. I just finished my homework and Pidge is at the library. Probably procrastinating on their essay because they started this conversation. You're not my mom, Hunk. Pidge. Oh god, look what you've done. Sure, pre-man Pidge later. Hunk, I need your buddy. Be my backup? I will be honored. Do you still have that automatic with the bonus clips? Of course. Good, because they stuck with me with the mutual reload. Now I'm pinned down. Called it. On my way. It'll take me 20 to get there. Can you make it? I'll do my best. Also, is there dinner later? Mom gave me money for pizza. Will it be alright if I'm there? Dude, she loves you, and the kids are a mess. I need you, mi amigo. On it, hombre. I love you. Love you too. What did I just witness? The sound of my frustrated heart breaking at having to pull a rain check on my announcement for these nerds. Has it ever occurred to you that you're just as dramatic in your own way? You take that back. Make me. I know your passwords. Hey, Shiro, Pidge is behind on their essay and procrastinating. Pidge, you're in the library. You really shouldn't be in a group chat. Keith, you're the worst. Payback for telling Lance about the Mothman incident. Where, yeah, they still have that little announcement, but everything is almost there, but except for Lance, because Lance is very busy right now with the babysitting, and they're in the middle of the Nerf guns and trying to help each other, and unfortunately, it doesn't even go so well. I just wanted to say that yeah, there's gonna be lots into it, but hope maybe there might be a lot of things came from. So why not? Why not? Guys, I'm sorry that I'm gonna do this because Mama and my aunts, they're watching the movie and I can't do that because it's quite distracting and I don't want to put anything right here to be interrupted because I hate that because it's stupid. It's when my aunt is here, I can't stand it. I usually can't stand it anymore. I can't stand it. I can't stand not even a single thing.
So, why just not? I'll put this on my phone and here on my tablet and see what happens. Here we go. Group chat. Family BBQ. Today's menu, slow broiled rain check. Did I even ask? Hello? Okay, I know that my luck is getting everyone in at the same time is terrible, but there's usually somebody. No? Oh, come on! I'm stuck in the library for the next hour before Matt picks me up for dinner. At this rate, I'll even set up for Lance's company. Okay. Rude. Finally! No can stay, my mini dude. Coran asked me to cover for him, teaching some of the kids' classes. You teach classes? Yeah, man. I'm charismatic and handsome, and I mold young minds. He's teaching some kids dance classes. Same You're not thing. Really molding their minds. Can't say molding their bodies, dude. That's weird and wrong. Point taken. Just didn't see you as the type to be able to teach kids. I'm going to take offense to that. I'm pleasantly surprised. I'm taking it as a compliment. Want a lesson? So you can drop me like you do during Shiro and Laura's lessons? I don't think so. You drop me. You can't prove anything. I have bruises. Those could be from anywhere. You are a clumsy dude with limbs that flail everywhere. This is getting dangerously close to insulting Lance territory. Luckily, I have to go start class now. Hasta la later, Keith. Rain check, Pidge. Ugh. If you want lessons, Keith, I'm teaching ballroom at 6. I can show you up here too. I find it hard to believe. He's actually good. Seriously? Dead serious. Keith? Sorry, just need a moment to process that information. Don't worry. I'm sure you can show him up with contra dancing. We agree not to speak of that. I do not recall. Keith? I'm sorry. Come back. I'm bored. Sorry, I'm in the middle of my shift and I have to go to the register now. Harder to text. Damn it. I take this to mean Coran is gone too. Yup. I have renewed my old Gregorian dance troupe tonight. Oh man, I love those guys. You guys are so fun to watch. Oh, thank you, Hunk. Do we get to see you guys perform sometime soon? Perhaps. Oh man, oh man. Hunk, does that mean you're here? Nope, I'm IT 8 hours right now. Damn it, I forgot. I just snuck away to check my phone, but I gotta get back to work. Ah, fine. See you later at home. Yeah, later. Where's Shiro and Laura? Sorry, Pidge. Since Coran is gone for the evening, I'm having some quality me time. I love you all, but I have a bomb, a bottle of wine, and with Netflix with my name on it. Put my phone away now. Allura out. Oh, that's one mystery solved. Sorry, Pidge. I mean, out with some old friends tonight for a beer. Do you have friends other than us? Believe it or not, I do. Oh god, you're using emojis? Winky emojis. You've already had a beer, hadn't you? Perhaps. You're banned from the chat until further notice. Nope, not dealing with this alone. I cry every time. Why am I the only one here to witness this? Gotta go. Fast. I'm crying, and I don't know if my tears from pride or embarrassment. Bye, Pidge. God, stop winking! Alright. You know what? I'm out too. Poor you. They don't have a lot of time, spending a lot of time for it, and it's so disappear in so low profile, and I don't even know what to say. I can't even just explain to yourself about what you're gonna do. So nobody's gonna chat you yet because they're not ready. So, for only probably take some time. Good chat. Today's menu is slow world rain jack. I'm still so upset that I missed Shiro's tipsy meme. You read back through it. Well, yeah, but it's not the same thing as seeing it live. It wasn't that big of a deal, Lance. Says you. I could have lived without seeing it. Thank you, Keith. It wasn't a compliment. I'm still making it as you being on my side. The more you drink, the more you act like a weird hybrid form of Pidge and Lance. You say that's a bad thing. It definitely is. Not. You forgot the not in that sentence. I blame Matt. He's basically an older version of Pidge. Matt wasn't even there. No, but growing up close to the Holtz was bound to have some side effects. Can't argue with that. I vote we have another squad movie night soon. I miss seeing drunk Shiro. Last time I got him to speak only in pickup lines and puns. That was so much fun. Let's not. I thought it was cute. See? Allure thought it was cute. We can't deny Allure things that are cute. If that thing is Shiro being drunk and ridiculous, then by God, will I take one for the team and get Dan's dad drunk? Laura, why did you do this to me? It's only because I love you. Yeah, Shiro, we love you. Shiro? You definitely broke him, Laura. How would you know? He's at my place. He was helping me with my bike, but now he's just bright red and trying to remember how to breathe. I never took any CPR training, so if he goes down, he's down for good. Say your goodbyes now. Bye, Shiro. I'll miss you. You gave good hugs. Can I have your sickle recipe? Goodbye, Shiro. You were a good man and a good dancer. I'll resurrect a statue in your honor in the entry hall of the studio. What the hell? Was the wink face too much? Pretty sure damage has already been done. And the winky face was perfect alert. Keep it up. Plus her dad is hilarious. Also, Keith, working on a bike. It's a motorcycle, dude. Keith has a motorcycle? Yeah. You didn't know? No? How do you know? He rode over to our place once. He always parks it in the back. It's quite a beautiful machine, Keith. Thanks. I built her from scratch. You built your bike? You didn't know Keith is a good mechanic? No? Yeah. I need a moment. Looks like we got 2 down. Ripped. Not to detract from the current breakdowns of our beloved friends, but I would certainly be down for another Roosing Squad get-together. Same. Oh, same. Oh no. Oh, yes! Party, party, party! That didn't take long. I'm currently ignoring the fact that you drive a bike in favor of thinking about a squad party. Speaking of our squad, it looks like everyone's here. So, where's Pidge? Oh, they're going to be so mad. They're in class right now. They should be back in like 2 hours. Oh, I gotta leave for work in an hour and a half. Dang. You work? Yes, Keith. I'm a responsible adult. All of me is surprised. Lance is a very responsible employee when he works with us. Thank you. I never said he wouldn't be. Was that almost a compliment? Keith Cogain, did you almost compliment me? Keith wants me to say that he can't hear it because he's too busy working on his bike. Everyone was here? Language. Why do I bother? What do you want to expect? That keep the time, it can get a little busy. It is, wow. It all keeps passing by and everybody just scramble up and they're not getting quite together, and this is terrible. This is very terrible. So, what do you want to expect from the chat? Which one expected? Group chat, the family break into his meals while running track. Pidge, 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 Pidgey, Pidgeotto, Pidgeot, amazing bird of prey, come down from above. You have been summoned. Pidge, 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 ping, ping, ping. Lance, oh my god, stop yelling. Seeing as this is a texting program, I physically am not actually yelling. This is a texting equivalent of yelling, you bold soggy Fruit Loops. I was being facetious. I am not entirely certain what that means. You're on the internet right now. Google it. No time. This is important. Then what it is? Can we stop using caps now? It's hurting my eyes. Seconded. No can do. Caps lock is cruise control to awesome. Never say that again. Off. That's my name. Don't wear it out. Did you just... Oh my god, you just made a dad joke. Shiro, what have you done to him? Why do you blame me? You're clearly the dad, and you're Keith's brother. Obviously, your nearness is rubbing dad humor off on him. Lance, you're overreacting. Keith's humor has been like that since he was a kid. You're kidding. No, Keith? And Keith shrugs. I need to lie down. Dramatic. Shut up. I can't tell if this is the best or worst thing that's ever happened to me. Lance, please. What did you call me in here from the second my class ended? I hadn't even gotten home yet. Right. He bounces back fast. Always has. Pidge, watch this. Roll call. Lance. Handsome, humble, and here. Don't say anything, Keith. I didn't say anything. You were going to say one of those things is true. Thanks for insulting yourself for me. Moving on. Keith! Seriously? Come on, play along. Fine. Here. Thank you. Hunk? Yo. Shiro? Here. Allura? Here. Coran? Oh man. Present. And... at last, but certainly not least, Pidge. Oh, are we actually all here? Yeah, boy. Announcement time. Speech, speech, speech. It's your time to shine, Pidge. Finally. Or maybe I should build suspense. Pidge. Fine. Alright, nerds, listen up. So, you know how Matt's been looking for a new DJ gig? I like where this is going. I suck on both of those statements, so that's why he's been in such a good mood lately. Guys, please, stop stealing my thunder. Sorry. Maybe. Sorry, Pidge. Go on. Thank you. Max got get at Balmera starting this weekend. Guess what, squad? Is going clubbing Saturday to support my brother's first day on the job. Oh my god. Oh my god. There's my hype, man. Oh my god. That's the spirit, Allura. We're going clubbing. Let me do your hair. Only if I get due to your outfit. Done and done. Have I mentioned the best part? We get in for free cause Matt's putting us on the guest list. I have died and gone to heaven. I see the pearly gates and they're covered in strobe lights and surrounded by some deep ass bass. This is so exciting. I cannot wait. Alright, Club Twins. Time to turn your hype onto your favorite sticks in the metaphorical mud. I'm on it. Hunk? Buddy? I'm in. Sounds fun. But I vote we have like an agreed upon safe word and agreement in case things get like to be too much, too overstimulating. A lot happens at clubs. Don't worry, buddy. We gotcha. Thanks, dude. You can count on me in as well. It's been a while since I've been able to cut loose at one of those establishments. Coran, my man, I'm going to bring out and dust up my old leather pants. Oh dear God. Okay. Didn't expect that, but I love your enthusiasm. I really don't want to see that. I'll make sure he is appropriately dressed before leaving the apartment. the less I'm into. To be honest, I'm expected you be more convincing. Matt's my roommate and best friend. I'm not going to miss seeing him on his first day. That's actually be really sweet. Spoken like a true dad. Not to mention, we can all stand off to the side of the DJ booth and embarrass him by acting like a proud family. Now that's the Shiro I know and love. So that just leave my favorite stick in the mud. Keith. 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 Oh, would you look at the time? Nope. No. No, 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 no. Keith, my man, my dude, buddy, you're going to that club with us. I am not. You're so. I'm not really the clubbing type. Neither is Shiro and Hunk, and they're going. Yeah, it'll be fun, dude. I mean, I don't think clubs are always fun, but we're going with friends so we can make it fun. We'd love it if you came out with us, Keith. You don't really get to hang out much outside the studio. You're only young once. Yo, I like it. I don't know. Keith, oh no. You're part of this family now. You will be going on this family outing with us. Yeah, Dad's got your back. Lance, no, go back to talking to Keith. Ugh, Keith, come on. No, yes, no, yes, no, yes. I will use the puppy dog eyes on you. That won't work. Oh yeah? Guys, code Ginger. What the is code Ginger? Guys? Lance, Pidge, Hunk, Allura, and Coran in an image. You have got to be kidding me. Ugh, please, Keith. It would really mean a lot. Oh my god. Fine. Yes! Yay! Hurrah! Excellent. Proud of you, Keith. I can't wait. I can't believe you guys have that code name for everyone sending a puppy doll look. And why the hell is it called Ginger? Because, like a ginger, a multitude of puppy doll looks like that will steal your soul and thus your will, forcing you to give into our demands. It was my idea. You guys are ridiculous. We love you, Keith. After Hunk have love once, Pidge twice, Coran 3 times, Allura 4 times, Shiro 5 times. Ugh. And give Lance a 1 time for love. And more exclamation points for Lance. And on it, everybody's getting together and all that announcement. Matt is going out for a DJ because this is his first day. And we'll finally get to see Matt on at that time. And you'll know, you'll get this idea. And oh my god. Whew. Now that the texting thing is over, it's time for us to actually reading, because it's been texting for a while, and I don't know. God, it's been so long since I have been reading like a text something. But okay, here is the real story. Let's get started. Focus. Why did I agree to this again? Keith grumbles, arms crossed over to his chest and leaning to the side to rest his head against the window. Because you love us. Lance sings from one of the middle bucket seats. He twists around to look at him, and his lips are predictably cocked up to that smirk that matches his teasing voice so well. Keith glares at it and at him. He hates it. He hates them both. Lance and the entity that is his smile. Smirk. Whatever. Keith hates his mouth and everything that mouth forms, including smirks, smiles, and words. Definitely not, he deadpans. His good humor isn't deterred in the slightest. If anything, it's not wide as he tilts his head to the side. He's done something with his hair to make it look nicer than usual. And it looks great in the outfit that Allura picked out for him. It's casual enough, but it makes Keith wish he had put more effort into his own appearance. Shiro assured him that he looks fine, but now he's not so sure. He's dull in comparison to Lance. Now, let's not forget that heart you sent to the group, implying that you do indeed love us, Lance says, waving his phone in the air for emphasis. He glares at him. You can't improve anything. Oh, can't I? No? I screenshotted it. You did not. Oh, I did. Why? For the future proof and blackmail, of course. I hate you. Sticks and stones, Keefy boy, he says, laughing. turning back around in the seat. Stop antagonizing him, Lance. We practically had to drag him out of his apartment, Pidge calls out from the driver's seat. Dad borrowed their family van for the night, agreeing to DD for them, all seeing as they were underage anyway, though they hadn't agreed without some grumbling. Speak for yourself. Shiro snorts for his seat next to Keith in the back. I did have to drag him out, he says, nudging Keith with his shoulder. Keith grunts, but doesn't say anything, instead turning his eyes to the window. They're already deep in the city, headed for downtown. He doesn't come this way often. He's not a big fan of crowds and downtown as it usually full of them. He's just glad he's not driving. It's good for you to get out once in a while. Thanks, Dad, Keith grumbles, half-heartedly shoving him back. Shiro only chuckles. The conversation turns and Keith finds himself only half listening. He'd be lying if he said he isn't nervous, and he doubts anyone will believe him if he tried. He hasn't really ever been to a club. In fact, he barely even been to bars. He's gone to a couple with Shiro, and sometimes Matt and Allura, but they're usually chill bars where they sat in the corner and talk. Sometimes there was loud music, but there was never dancing. Clubs have dancing. Clubs have a DJ and a dance floor, and his friends are all dancers. So he'd be delusional to believe that they won't spend the majority of their time there. Maybe if he looks awkward and helpless enough, some of his friends will take pity on him and stay with him while the others go off to dance. It's not that he doesn't love dancing. Obviously, he loves dancing. He considers dancing to be one of his main passions in life. One of the only things that really makes him happy. One of the things that he kind of wants somehow to make a living from. But this is different. He likes to choreograph. He likes to listen to the music alone. Likes to get instinct, figure out what moves to use and how they flow together. Likes to train and practice and repeat until everything is being into muscle memory and feels natural. And then, only then, does he like to perform in front of the crowd. Even then, he's still a little nervous about performing. But at least at that point, he can trust his body to do what he needs to do. This is different. There are no preset moves to rely on. There's no predictable music. There is no space to perform. It's just people. Dancing. Even people who have absolutely no rhythm. They just go out there and move like they've known how to do it their entire lives. He doesn't know how to do that. Club dancing is a style that he's never really gotten into. It's a lot of just grinding and rolling and moving in ways that are supposed to make Keith stand out, but never really do because everyone is doing the same thing. He doesn't think he can do that on his own, let alone stand up close and personal with his friends, who are all probably infinitely better at this than he is. Certainly, all more comfortable, especially Lance. Oh god, Lance is probably fantastic at club dancing. This is is right up his alley. All freestyle and smooth confidence. He's going to look like an idiot. He's going to look like an awkward, stiff idiot with 2 left feet and a stick rammed so far up his ass it's breaking its teeth. Why the did he agree to come tonight? Surely looking like a loner who doesn't want to hang out with his friends will be better than this. Who is he kidding? He knew he was going to regret no matter which decision he made, which is probably why he decided to just suck it up and go along with his friends. At least this way, they can't say that he never tried. Keith's guts is in knots as they pull into the parking lot and climb out of the van. He gazes up at the neon sign above the front doors that reads Balmera. The parking lot is crowded, and there's a mass of people outside on the door patio smoking. They can hear the dull throb of music from within, breaking through the otherwise peaceful night. He's not sure what expression is on his face as he stares at the club building, anxiety tightening his chest, but it's apparently enough to catch Hunk's attention. He slides up next to Keith as the others climb out of the van and sort themselves out. Have you ever been to a club before? He asked, voice casual but soft enough that the conversation can stay between them. He pursed his lips together, shaking his head. Hunk chuckles, but it's not the harsh laugh of mockery. It's softer, more sympathetic. Yeah, I've only been to one once. Lance made us go on his 21st birthday. Oh man, that was a crazy time. He cocks a small, wide smile. I can imagine. Hunk shakes his head. No, you don't get it. It was terrible. Lance's girlfriend had just broken up with him, and that is a whole nother can of worms I shouldn't get into. But it was messy, and it left him pretty messed up. So we really should have taken him to a club. But we're his best friends, so what were we gonna say? No, it was his birthday. Hunk's hands are waving around while he narrates. He gets his whole face into it, expressing so many emotions from the past that Keith wasn't a part of, yet feels like he's reliving with him. It reminds him a lot of Lance, to be honest. Perhaps he never noticed because Lance is always so loud and dramatic enough that it drowns Hunk out. Or maybe he's just always too attracted by Lance. So, Pidge couldn't drink because they were underage, of course, but they were 19, so they could get in. And I'm so grateful for that because I would not have been able to handle Lance on my own. He got drunker than he should have. Despite us trying to count his drinks, he just kept getting more when he weren't looking. He kept sneaking off as soon as we turned our backs. Just poof, disappears in the crowd. And he was flirting terribly with basically everyone, so I had to keep him from getting too wrapped up with someone or from getting into a fight or flirting with the wrong people. And we tried to help him have a good time, which I think we did despite him being a mess, but Pidge and I were not very impressed by club life. He smiles something. Understandable. Hunk's laugh is full of bitter humor. That kind of comes from finding a past event amusing only in hindsight. He runs a hand through his hair. Yeah, well, after that we agreed on the 4-friend rule. Keith's mouth fades as he raises an eyebrow. 4-friend rule? Hunk nods. Yeah, 4-friend rule. He holds up both hands, 2 fingers on each. Only get to a club if there's 4 of us. That way, there's enough of us that we can always pair off. You know, like a buddy system. Everyone keeps everyone safer and from getting lost and from making stupid decisions. Well, mostly, anyway. He smiles and it's warm and comforting, and Keith feels the anxiety in his chest loosen a bit. He feels like he can't breathe again. Why are you telling me this? He asks, but despite his blunt question, he's smiling back and his tone is nothing but curious. Hunk shrugs, tilting his head to the side. Just to let you know that we're not crazy club animals, and despite Lance's enthusiasm, he's not really the club type either. This is like a special occasion, which is why we're all so excited. And this time, there's 10 of us, if we don't count Matt. Plus, I could see you were actually nervous. So I want you to know that I am too. But it'll still be fun because, we form our own little group. It's just like the 7 of us having a party, just in a place with other people who are also having a party. If that makes sense. He chuckles away. I think I get what you mean. Thanks, Hunk, he says, and he means it. Hunk grins, bumping the shoulders enough that Keith stumbles a step. It'll be fun. Promise. Keith can't help but smile at that. Okay. Hey, Lance says, marching toward them from around the hood of the car. Both Keith and Hunk turn to look at him. He glares at Keith, but he can't tell there's no real heat here. How come when I say it's going to be fun, you don't believe me? And when Hunk says it, you trust him? He just wildly between himself and Hunk as he talks, and ends with his hands on his hips, leaning forward slightly to put himself at eye level with Keith. Keith just shrugs, a small smirk curving his lips. I guess I just trust Hunk more. Lance gasped loudly, leaning back as one hand goes to his chest. Rude. And here I thought all those trust exercises were getting us somewhere. Don't take it personally, Lance. It's just sitting next to them. They crossed their arms over their chest, leaning their head and shoulder lazily against Keith's arm. Everyone trusts Hunk more than you. I'm very trustworthy, Lance says, crossing his arms over his chest. Right. Keith, you trust me. Allura said we're getting better at the trust exercises. That's true. I did, she said as she and Shiro and Coran come to join her. You two have made remarkable improvement in the past 3 weeks. See? Keith trusts. I trust you on the dance floor, he says, leaving his tone vague and his statement open-ended, implying that it might be the only place he trusts him. It's not true, of course, he hates to admit it, but when it comes right down to it, he would trust Lance in a heartbeat. Doesn't mean he can't watch him squirm, though. And a squirm he does. His eyes narrow as he looks at Keith, lips twisting in the pout. He tilts his head to the side as he winces. Keith only grins. Not Keith's fault, Pidge says, and he can feel them shrug against his arm. I mean, have you seen Hunk? Dude's like a big cinnamon roll. Who wouldn't trust him? Pidge waves a hand toward the large man in question. Coran looks figure. Not to mention, Hunk here has the highest record of being right in most situations. Shiro raised an eyebrow, eyeing him curiously. Are you keeping track? Coran only smiles, twisting his mustache as his eyes glint mischievously. Perhaps. Fine. Lance jaws, throwing himself dramatically onto Hunk, leaning against him and throwing an arm over his shoulders. I'll concede, but only because Hunk's my best friend and can confirm that he is indeed a precious cinnamon roll and the most trustworthy person I know. Aw, bro, Hunk says, wrapping Lance up in the bone, crushing Hunk, lifting him off his feet and twisting back and forth, leaving Lance's limbs to dangle awkwardly. He's laughing breathlessly, though, and the rest of them smile. Shiro and Pidge lead the way through the parking lot, and the rest of them trail behind. The line is long, but moves quickly, and before he's really ready, they step inside. The employee at the door checks their IDs, gives 6 of them a wristband, marks a black X on Pidge's hands, and checks their names on the guests before waving them on. Pidge leads the way with far more confidence than Keith would have expected. Like him, Pidge has never liked crowds. Unlike him, however, they weren't afraid to bully their way through one, despite their short stature. Pidge leads them through the tree halls into the first room. It's large, dark, and loud. A bar lines wall, and there are tall tables bolted to the floor and spread around the room. The room is thick with people. Keith thinks they're going to stop at the bar, but Pidge bypasses it. It's shouldering through the crowd and leaving a small gap for Keith to dart through before the bodies close around it. He puts a hand on Pidge's shoulder to keep them in his sights, and feels a hand rest against his back. When he turns, Shiro gives him a small smile before turning and reaching out a hand toward Allura. They make a single file trying to follow Pidge. They pass through a second room with pool tables, dartboards, and cornhole boards. The room is less crowded than the others, but all the game stations are taken. It's easier to navigate. They enter a wide hallway and pass by several open doorways. One leads to an outdoor courtyard that seems to be sporting its own bar on the far side, but it's honestly hard to tell with the sheer mass of people out there. They pass another door that undoubtedly leads to the main dance floor. Keith glances inside as they pass. It's dark, with flashing lights that give glimpses of grinding and riffing bodies. Music blasts from the room, and Keith can feel the thump of the bass in his feet, pulsing up through his chest. He gulps, hand instantly tightening on Pidge's shoulder, but Pidge keeps walking, and he's a little surprised to feel Pidge's hand covering his, giving his fingers a small squeeze. They finally stop when they reach a room toward the back of the complex. The room is significantly less crowded. There's a bar along one wall and several tall tables scattered close by. On the outer edges of the room, There are also couches with low coffee tables between them. It looks more like a lounge than any other room in the club that he'd seen so far. This music is significantly softer here, though he can still feel it pounding and pulsing like a heartbeat throughout the entirety of the club. How do you know where you're going? Keith asks when they finally come to a stop and the group starts to gather in a small circle. Pidge shrugs. I came here with Matt earlier in the week when he came to see the setup. They turn to Faith's group, setting their hands on their hips. Alright, so the manager said this is the least crowded room in the whole place, so I vote we use it as our base of operations. Here's the group. Come here. It'll be the meetup spot. Agreed? There are nods around the group, and Shiro glances at the watch on his wrist. Keith has to actively resist the urge to roll his eyes. Seriously? A watch? Who wears a watch anymore, Shiro? Old people, that's who. His brother is dressed handsomely, though, with well-fitting dark jeans and a black button-up that has sleeves rolled up to his elbows and is only to reveal a tight V-neck. Watch or not, he doesn't look old. Matt should have taken over the DJ booth about half an hour ago, he says. Allure puts a hand on his shoulder, giving him a small smile when he turns to look at her. Perhaps we should give him a little longer to settle in before we make our appearance. You ruined all my fun, Shiro says with a smile. Allure gives him a quick wink and a smirk. Someone has to keep you in line, and while Shiro manages to keep a steady expression, Keith can't see him breaking down under the weight of Allure's gaze. He can see the way his brother's hand flexes, the way his prosthetic taps against his thigh, the way a blush lights up his cheeks, putting his scar in stark relief. He can't really blame him. Allure is damn gorgeous. She dresses for the evening in the light blue eyes that hangs off her shoulder. Her hair have pinned up with pins and beads and silver white tendrils that fail to frame her face. Keith wonders if they had gone through with their bargain, and if Lance had actually done Allure's hair. He hadn't thought to ask. But if that had been Lance, well, Keith is impressed. All right, Lance says, clapping his hands together loudly and drawing the attention to him. He takes a moment to sweep his gaze around the group, grinning. While we wait, I vote we get drink. Oh yeah, let's get our drink on. Pidge advances with monetary enthusiasm. Oh, Pidge. Lance laughs, ruffling her hair. Next year, short stuff. Pidge slaps his hands away, and Lance snatches them back to his chest quickly. Golf, beanpole. Hey, calm down. He throws an arm over Pidge's shoulder and leans in close, putting a hand up to his mouth while whispering loudly. We'll sneak you some of our drinks while Shiro isn't looking. Lance. Shiro loves to look at them both. Lance throws his hands up in the air, doing his best and failing to hide his mouth. What? I didn't say anything. Shiro continues to stare at him. And Lance fidgets under his gaze. He darts behind Pidge and makes a laughable attempt to hide. Pidge, protect me from Dad. Pidge crosses her arms over their chest and rolls their eyes. I'll make sure I'm sober by the time we leave, they say, meeting Shiro's eyes with a challenge, as if daring him to try to stop them. He looks like he just might try, but then Allure is slipping her arm around Shiro's, pressing herself against his arm as she looks around him to where Coran is standing. Coran, do you think they have any decent whiskey? Perhaps you can convince the bartender to make that drink you want Shiro to try? Coran's eyes sparkle as he stands straight, snapping his fingers. Oh, right, that drink. Let's find out, shall we? He swoops in and wraps an arm around Shiro's other arm, turning him with Allure's help to tug him toward the bar. It's a concoction of my grandfather's own design. He called it the hair tonic because it's bound to put some hair on your chest. As he and Allure drag Shiro away toward the bar, Allure glances over her shoulder, giving them a smile and a wink. Pidge grins, and Lance gives her a mock salute. After they all get drinks, the seven of them claim two couches facing each other across the coffee table at the far end of the room. The couches aren't exactly big, as at tight fit, but they make work. Shiro, Laura, and Coran take one couch, while Keith, Lance, and Hunk take the other. Pidge perches themselves on the arm of the chair next to Hunk, leaning against his arm. Keith tries to ignore the fact that Lance is pressed right up against him, leg to leg and arm to arm. He rests an elbow on the arm of the couch and tries to lean away from him as much as he can without being too obvious. Touching Lance has gotten easier since they started taking lessons with Shiro and Laura, but the casual touches outside of practice still make his stomach twist in knots. He hates it, and he can't wait for stupid infatuation to pass. And it will pass because it always does. It's not the first time he found himself unexplainably attracted to someone, but it's not the first time he ignored those feelings until they went away. It's just easier this way, especially since Lance is now not only his dance partner, but his friend. He's not about to sacrifice his new friend group just because his hormones decide to wake up and give him his yearly crush. Except it's not a crush. It's just the potential for a crush. He's not letting it progress that far. He refuses. Unfortunately, in the meantime, he's just going to have to deal with the fact that Lance's touch sends electricity shooting through his veins, and that his smile makes his stomach do somersaults, that his laugh makes something tight in his chest. All physical responses. Physical responses could be overcome. Mind over matter, right? Sort of he likes to push Lance's buttons to see him riled up. It's cute. Yeah, but it's also hilarious. So, what if he'll go out of his way to do nice things for Lance? To make him smile? That's what friends do. They make each other happy. So what if he looks forward to Wednesday because Shiro and Laura's synergy lessons gave him an excuse to be close to Lance? So what if... Oh man. He's got it bad, doesn't he? Hey! Keith jerks when Lance's voice is suddenly right in his ear. Breathe arm warm against his cheek. He had been attempting to pay attention to whatever Laura and Coran were talking about across from him, but he hadn't realized how much he had zoned out. He leans away to put some distance between them before half turning to look at Lance. His brows are furrowed and his lips are curled into a small frown. What? You okay, dude? Keith frowns, one hand curling to a fist over his leg. Why wouldn't I be? Okay, that came out a little more defensive than he would have liked. Lance frown deepens and his eyes search Keith's face. He really hopes he's not blushing. I don't know. You're all stiff and twitchy. I'm not, raised an eyebrow. You're really gonna deny it? He uses his free hand to point to Keith's leg, the one that pressed up against his. It's bouncing. Keith immediately stops. Usually, I'm the one who can't sit still. Keith grunts and turns away, lifting his cup to his lips and sip. It's a simple rum and coke, but he had ordered strong. It felt like he needed it. The burn at the back of his throat is oddly comforting. Lance isn't quite down with him. Not a club person? Keith says. What gave it away? Do you want the list alphabetically or chronologically? I'm so proud of you for using that word correctly. I'm a learned man, Keith. A man of many talents. Is one of those talents looking like an idiot? Keith asked, gesturing to the multitude of glow bracelets hanging on his wrist over his usual bracelets and wrapped around his neck. They're not glowing very well in the lighting in the lunchroom. They look sickly dull. Hey, don't knock the glow bracelets, dude, Lance says, pointing a finger at Keith. He glares at him, finger an inch from his cheek. Then, with the shadow of an amused smirk breaking through his mock frown, he shifts his finger forward to poke Keith's nose. Stop that, Keith snaps, slapping his hand away and wrinkling his nose. Lance smiles at that, cocking his head to the side as he chuckles. They're leaning in close, which isn't too hard given their proximity on a couch, and Lance seems to be making an effort to keep their conversation between them. No one's made a move to intrude. While Keith catches Shiro's curious glance, He doesn't say anything. Seriously though, if you're good tonight, maybe I'll consider giving you one, he says, voice aloof as he dangles a wrist in front of Keith. Keith snorts, rolling his eyes. No thanks, they smile. It's small, a mere tilt of his lips, but it's there. Mark my words, Cogain. By the end of the night, I'm going to get you to wear one of these, he says, with his signature smirk. I'll take that, Beth. You sure? I've already got everyone else wear one, he says, grin wide. He sits back, one arm crossed over his chest. He sips the drink. Even Shiro and Pidge. Keith rolls his eyes. There's no way. But as he glances across to his brother, sure enough, there's a purple gold necklace around his neck. Keith lifts an eyebrow as he admits. Seriously? Shiro manages to look sheepish as he shrugs. Allura was persuasive. You're weak. Shiro shrugs, but doesn't deny it as he hides his face behind his cup. Keith isn't sure if he got whatever drink Coran was talking about, but judging from the look on his face when he takes a sip, he's going to go with yes. Lance, Hunk, and Allura had the most glow bracelets, and they've been wearing them since Keith was picked up. He's not surprised about Lance and Hunk. This is exactly that kind of thing Lance would think of, and Hunk is good-natured enough to go along with it. Allura, he's a little surprised about it. But he really shouldn't be. Despite her elegance and beauty, she's a child at heart and is easily wrapped up in Lance's ideas if she thinks they'll be fun. Coran gained a few bracelets and a necklace shortly after getting into the van. He was nearly as enthusiastic about getting them as Hunk was about giving them. Keith, Shiro, and Pidge, however, had declined. At least that's what he had thought. He should have known Shiro would keep them on. Allura got involved. Pidge, however, is made of tougher stuff. Pidge? He asked, leaning forward to look at them, perched on the far end of the couch. Pidge's smile is small and a little apologetic as they lift a hand in pressing their wrist where there are two green glow bracelets. Sorry, Keith. Hunk got me. Keith glares. I feel betrayed. Pidge rolls their eyes. Don't be so dramatic. We're here to have fun. And what's more fun than glow bracelets? Lance is grinning. I like them. They kind of make us stick out as a squad, Hunk says, rubbing the back of his neck. We're here to have fun with friends, after all. He gives Keith a genuine smile. And okay, you can see how Pidge broke so easily to Hunk. Still, Lance is watching him, and Keith isn't going to cave just yet. Besides, Hunk brought up a good point. The more ridiculous we look, the more it'll embarrass Matt. Pidge smiles dubious. Keith finds himself with a similar smirk. They have good point. Matt is just as much family as Pidge is, and as such, it's Keith's job to embarrass him. Fair enough. So, you'll wear one? Lance asked, nudging him with a shoulder. Not on your life. Oh, come on, Keith. Lance begins to bug him, and Keith makes a point of ignoring him by talking to everyone else. Lance complains, leaning into Keith and practically begging for his attention, while Keith tries his best to hold a straight face as he talks loudly to the others. It doesn't take long for Lance to switch to draping himself against Hunk, who takes Keith's cue to ignore Lance in order to talk animatedly to Allura. He tries to lean across Hunk to poke at Pidge, but Pidge ignores him in favor of leaning forward to talk loudly to Keith about a new alien documentary that's supposed to be out. Lance is dramatic, but his antics make everyone smile through the indifferent mask they're trying to hold, and even Lance is having a hard time to keep up his pouting facade. When he leans across Keith's left to lean against the arm of the couch in order to stretch legs out across Hunk, Keith really hopes the warmth rising to his cheek isn't visible. Either way, he catches Shiro's eye, and his brother leans back, resting one foot over the other knee as he sips his drink. Waggling his eyebrows and smiling knowingly, Keith glares daggers at him. When they're all finished with their drinks, Pidge and Shiro waste no time rushing people up and ushering them all out of the room and toward the source of the club's music. the dance floor. Keith's nerves have subsided for the most part. What with Lance's dramatics, with the warm buzz of rum in his system, it's starting to come back, leaking into his system and cooling low in his gut. But then Lance is there, draping his arm around Keith's shoulders and tugging him close with a casual squeeze. Relax, John Stamos, he says slightly. Keith glances up at him, eyebrow raised. You know, that's another one I don't really mind. Lance's grin is small and sincere. Yeah, I had a feeling. You got that 80s bad boy vibe. I'm not sure if that's a compliment or not. You know what? Neither am I, he laughs. But the sound is drowned out as they turn the corner and step into the dance room. It's dark, with flashing lights that light up and throw the riffing crowd into silhouettes. He feels immediately engulfed in the atmosphere, nearly suffocated by it. The air here is heavy and warm, and the energy is thick enough to be cut with a knife. The music is music he vaguely recognizes from the stuff he got from Matt, but it's pounding down through his body, rattling his bones and driving his heart rate through the roof. He nearly turns around, but Lance's arm is still around his shoulders and tugging him after their friends. His legs feel numb and rigid as they blindly follows, as they push along the outskirts of the crowd. Lance's arm drops to push ahead of him a little, shouldering people aside from Coran's wake, but his head remains on Keith's arm, tugging him ever onward. As the body presses on close, he can't find himself leaning toward Lance. Much to Keith's gratitude, Lance doesn't bring it up. The DJ booth is halfway along one of the side walls, elevated a few steps above the floor. They can only see the edges of Matt's equipment peeking over the top of the booth, but they can see him clearly. He's standing over his equipment, eyes focused on it with an intensity and single-minded concentration that he often sees in Pidge. In all honesty, the two siblings look incredibly alike. Matt's taller with a little more of a masculine build and cut to his face, but their hair is styled nearly the same with the exact same copper or orange color. Not to mention their eyes are exactly the same. Amber, bright with intellect, wide with curiosity, sharp with analysis, and soft with unwavering loyalty. The only difference is that Pidge can't quite hide the mischievous air about them, and Matt is much more laid back and open. He has his headphones on, making his hair stand up in more angles than he does usually. His head is bobbing along with the beat as hands adjust levels. They stop in front of the booth, a little to the side, and holler into the group. He hasn't noticed them yet, and Keith doubts he will until they make their presence known. You can't imagine the crowd just kind of blurs in the background when you're up there. Hell, the crowd is blurring for him. He's in it. All right, Pidge says, eyeing their brother before looking around the group. A smirk decorates their lips. Crinkling their eyes, they reach into one of the bigger pockets of their pants and pull out a large folded piece of paper. Let's do this. No holding back. I want to see him firmly embarrassed. No excuses. As they systematically and carefully unfold the paper to reveal a large poster with the words, "That DJ nerd is my brother," written out in large block letters in a horrendously vibrant paint that glows in the black lights around the club. In the dim lightning, he can't even see the creases from it being folded for so long. Where were you even keeping that? Keith asked, eyeing him curiously. They shrugged. These pants have big pockets. Is that glitter? Lance asked, leaning close to inspect the poster. Pidge is grinning. Damn right it is. It was Hunk's idea. Lance leans back, nodding as he reaches out to pat Hunk's arm. Nice eye, buddy. Hunk crosses his arms over his chest mouth. Thanks. I wasn't sure if you would be able to see it in this lightning, but I thought it was worth a shot. It's a nice touch, Lance agrees. Allure's chuckling, hiding her smile in behind her hand. Absolutely brilliant craftsmanship, Pidge. Coran illy twirls his mustache, warm across over his chest as he grins. Agreed. Absolutely impeccable. Pidge gives a small bow. I try. Shiro looks over the sign, rubbing his chin thoughtfully. It's completely horrendous, he deadpans, and then a wide grin slowly overtakes his lips. I love it. Pidge screamed, I knew you would. And then they set to work embarrassing Matt. As Shiro's cue and following Pidge's lead, they all step forward and start squealing. Voice high and pitch. Pidge climbs up to Hunk's shoulder and holds a sign above their head while they scream, That nerd is my brother! That's my brother! Matt's head steps up, and the whitening of his eyes is absolutely hilarious. His mouth drops open as he gapes at them in horror. He freezes one hand on his headset and the other hovering above the buttons of his board. With his hands on Pidge's legs keep them balanced, Hunk dances side to side, swiveling his hips and jostling Pidge. Shiro links his fingers together and puts them under his chin, putting his knees together as they squats a little, letting out the highest pitched squeal Keith has ever heard from him. He wriggles around like something straight out of the cartoon as he makes faces at Matt. He's supposed to be embarrassing his roommate, but honestly, Keith is feeling it just as hard. Lance and Laura lock hands, jumping up and down squint as they point to Matt and giggle loudly. Then they both dramatically swoon, hands to their chests and foreheads, legs straight as a board. They fall backward. Laura falls right into Coran's swaying arms, who catches her, lets her lean against his chest, and throws a hand of his own to his forehead, declaring things about Matt in a loud, dramatic, overly dramatic voice. Lance falls right toward Keith, and if it weren't for their weekly trust success, he might not have caught him in time. But the way he steps forward to catch Lance under his arm is completely automatic and without hesitation. Lance tilts his head back, breaking character for a moment to grin up at him. I knew I could trust you, partner, he says with a wink, and Keith feels himself stiffen, heart hammering in his chest as his breath itches. But Lance is already standing up on his own again and joining in with the others to continue their antics. After several months of him, Matt finally breaks out of his shock. He sighs, and though they can't hear it, they can see it in a way and his shoulders sag. He puts his hand to his face and covering most of it as he turns away, but he can see the telltale signs of a smile there. It's not long before he has to get back to his work, though, and waits them off, half an eye on his equipment and his computer screen. I love you, bro, Pidge yells loud enough to be heard, brandishing their sign for the last time. He flips them off, but he's laughing. Once the sign is folded and once again stuffed into their pocket, the group heads deeper into the crowd. Keith follows close behind, chest clenched tight and breaths coming short and shallow. They manage to carve out a section of dance floor for themselves, standing around and forming a small circle. As it turns out, it's not as bad as Keith was anticipating. The group stands in a circle movement. Movement running through them as they fell for the beat, during which Keith feels far too stiff. But then Lance steps forward and starts doing sprinkler, complete with a hand behind his head and the other outstretched, moving in ticks with the beat. He makes faces that honk across the circle, and he laughs before joining in. It's not long before everyone joins in with that ridiculous dance move, Pidge bumping Keith's hip until he reluctantly rolls with it. When all their sprinklers reset at the time, and they'll make various sprinkler sounds, Keith can't help but laugh, and just like that, the tension he feels breaks. Somehow unspoken, a game is formed. They go around the circle, taking turns to come up with some novelty dance move that the others then all have to copy. Since it started with Lance, it moves on to Laura at its other side. She doesn't miss a beat before putting her hands out like she's swimming, going a few times before plunging up her nose and wriggling her arm in the air and singing a little with bent knees. Coran does cliche disco moves. Hunk does the running man. Shiro does the monkey. Pidge does the robot, though they do it significantly worse and more cliche than everyone knows they can. When it gets to Keith, he panics for a moment, looking around at all smiling and expecting eyes, before instantly doing the cabbage patch. Lance throws it back his hand and laughs, getting into it and bumps Keith's hip with his own. His cheeks hurt from smiling. He wonders why he ever expected everyone to be into typical club dancing. His group of friends, they're more into having fun than showing off. They dance seriously on a near daily basis. This is for fun, and they make it slow. And with the way their tight circles form, backs into the crowd around them, it's like they're in their own little island in a sea of strangers. Keith can effectively block everyone else out and just relax with his friends. The game goes on, and when they run out of known novelty dances, they start making things up. The songs change. A mix and match remixes and popular songs as well, and some of his originals mixed in there. Keith doesn't recognize all of it, but it has the same feel. The vibe that drives them forward keeps their body moving of its own accord, and the beat that's forever pounding home.
Eventually, the game dissolves, along with their circle, and they start dancing in a way that Keith had feared. But it turns out to not be that bad. Lance and Pidge somehow end up next to each other and dance together in a style that's so fluid Pidge. Quick, precise moves that are jagged yet flow into each other. Keith is a little impressed. He didn't think Lance could dance like that. He's actually pretty good. Laura and Coran end up dancing together in a wild, spinning, dramatic motions that forces other people away to make space. Coran is just as wild and generic as the other times Keith had seen him dance, and Laura keeps up beautifully, adding her own grace that's so definitely hers. Shiro and Hunk show up on either side of him, nudging his hip with their own. Neither of them are dancing anything crazy. They're just bobbing back and forth, shifting with their weight with beat and just letting control their movements in subtle but sure ways. Keith takes their lead, and barely dancing compared to what they usually do. It's kind of moving to the beat, but any movement keeps them from staying out. And truth be told, it's difficult not to move at all. The beat is driving, singing in his veins and practically begging him to move to some degree, tugging on his strings to sway his body and bob his head. He's not sure what to do with his arms, so he lets them mostly hang at his sides, moving them in small movements as he mimics Hunk. Shiro starts dancing with twists and Keith groans loudly, throwing his head back and turning his hands down his face. Hunk is laughing, and it's not long before he's copying Shiro. They crowd him until he has no choice but to relent, laughing as he does so. At some point, Shiro and Laura split off from the ground, dancing close and sensual with the music, bodies rolling together and sharing gentle caresses. They maintain eye contact for most of it. It's tender and somehow managed to be sweet and lack of the raunchy atmosphere that sounds some of the other dancers around them. Still, somehow they make it a private moment that feels inappropriate to intrude on. So the rest of their group turns their eyes away and lets them have it to themselves. Keith watches with amusement as Pidge attempts to teach Coran some of their robotic dance moves, which he's not bad at, but certainly lacks some of the fluidity that Pidge embodies. Movement catches his eye as Lance bends in half, scooting backwards in large moves as he bounces until he's hilariously rubbing his ass on Hunk. The big guy just laughs, attempting to shove Lance away, but his shaking ass is persistent. Keith laughs, unable to hold it back. The sound is drowned out in the general noise that fills the dance floor, but Lance seems to notice it anyway. With a mischievous look, he turns his attention to Keith and waggles his eyebrows as he strains. He makes a motion like twirling a lasso and throws it at Keith, who just stares at him, unimpressed. Lance, not the one to be deterred when Keith stands still, instead jerks forward with every phantom pull on the invisible rope. He does this until he's right in front of him, grinning wildly. Then, though he tries, Keith can't quite smother his amused smirk. Then, he's suddenly sidling further forward, hands reaching out to grab hold of Keith's hips. His touch isn't hesitant, but it's light and gentle, and if it weren't for the warmth of his palms and the sight and if it weren't for the warmth of his palms and the slight pressure of his fingers, Keith would doubt he was touching him at all. For a moment, he forgets how to breathe. Lance leans forward, breath tickling the hair by his ears when he speaks. "You need to relax," he says, voice pitch far too low for comfort. It makes something in Keith's chest tighten, a shiver running down his spine to Crow's toes. They haven't been this close before, especially with Shiro and Laura's weekly lessons. But this is different. They aren't practicing choreography. They're just existing together here. It's a conscious choice on Lance's part to be this close to him, and it's making thinking difficult. So Keith pulls back, not physically. He doesn't think he can pull back physically, but he pulls back mentally, stuffing down his chaotic emotions for a moment as the scowl hardens his expression. Or at least he tries to scowl. Judging from Lance's direction, it might have come out as more of a pout. I am relaxed, he says defensively. Lance had already leaned back to look at him, a smile sound playing across his lips, but at that, he tosses his head back and laughs. His grip on Keith's hips tightens as he puts forth effort to wiggle them back and forth. You're still so stiff, he says, eyes fighting Keith. They darken and dim lightning, but every once in a while, one of the flashing lights will catch him, reflecting brightly and giving dazzling depth to his irises. He's still smirking, but there is an edge of amused fondness there that Keith doesn't know what to do with. So he just frowns. I'm not. You are, Lance argues, releasing his grips to step back. Keith tries not to mourn the loss of his touch. Then Lance is suddenly grabbing his wrist, stepping to his guide and holding out his free arm. He starts a rolling motion there, rolling away along his arm, his shoulders, down his other arm, and into Keith's. When Keith doesn't move, his shoulders hunch and he pouts. Keith, you'll let the wave die. You can't let the wave die. And Keith chuckles, because it's so absurd and ridiculous and so completely Lance. Here goes again, and this time Keith rolls the wave through both arms, pausing and then rolling it back. Lance laughs as it goes through him, and when it reaches his extended free arm, he throws the visible wave at Hunk, who catches it without hesitation and rolls it through his own body. Then they throw it around the group like it's a living thing, getting more and more dramatic and big with their actions as it goes on until they're laughing too hard to keep on going. At some point, they end up forming a circle again, widening it so they can take turns dancing in the middle. As the people around them catch on, the circle ends up widening, more and more people joining. All of his friends take turns dancing in the circle. Keith, however, refrains, and whenever someone nudges him, he shakes his head and smiles apologetically. Then someone takes the floor and he's forgotten. Luckily, his friends don't push him toward. They'll either know he's uncomfortable with it, or they picked up on it pretty quickly. He knows it's for fun, and it's just around his friends and people he'll probably never see again, but he just can't get himself to stick to the circle. It's just a nice thing, and as much as he would like to be able to relax enough to just wing it, his thoughts are too loud and paralyze his body, keeping him from just doing it. He'll need a lot more alcohol before he's that comfortable. Lance, however, is absolutely living. He dives in the circle as often as he can, while he's still giving others a chance, even going so far as to have a dance off with several people. This is where his element, and this is where he shines, beneath the flashing color club lights, surrounded by people cheering him on, where freestyle reigns king. And here, Lance is king, and Keith can do nothing but watch, knowing he'll never be able to touch that light. At some point during Coran's turn, in which he spins around the widening circle, legs kicked out, toes bent in ways they shouldn't, and going up and dropping to his knees in such quick succession that it leaves the crowd in awe. When Lance tugs at his arm, Keith doesn't resist, unable to, as Lance practically drags him through the crowd. And that's how they end up back at the lounge, leaning against the bar as they order a round of drinks. Keith is grateful for the change of scenery, though we can't help but wonder why Lance is dragging, of all people, with him. He knows of the buddy system from Hunk, that he didn't think Lance would choose him as his drinking buddy. He wonders if Lance sensed that he needed a break. Is that too much wishful thinking? Keith isn't sure. He takes a long swig of his rum and coke as soon as it's set in front of him. All this thinking is making his head hurt. Why can't he just having a fun night out with his friends without thinking himself in circles around Lance? Infatuation sucks. How can you drink that? Lance asked. leaning both elbows on the bar and counter as he sips his drink. As he's leaning forward, he has one foot propped up on the low bar that runs along the bottom of the bar. His lips are quirked at one side, giving Keith smiles and smirks. Keith shrugs, turning to lean his back against the bar, one elbow bent to rest on it. It's simple, easy, and tastes good, he says, looking down at his drink, swirling it around the plastic cup. Lance snorts, eyeing him over the rim of his own plastic cup, and to hide a smile. It's just cheap rum and coke, dude. Keith nods once and repeats. It's simple, easy, and tastes good. Then he eyes Lance sideways, his own smirk crawling its way onto his lips. Besides, it's better than your drink. Excuse? He says, lifting his cup a fraction and turning toward Keith with it. Vodka cranberry is a classic. So is rum and coke. Yeah, but cranberries are more fruity and delicious and good for you. But vodka tastes like rum and alcohol. Ah, but it's ingeniously hidden by cranberry juice. Keith's lip curls. I doubt that. No, trust me. Try it. He rapidly shoves his drink into Keith's hand. So he does as he's bid and takes a sip. His lip curls further as he shoves it back, coughing slightly. I stand by what I said. You're no fun. Your drink is so boring. So is yours. Lance looks at his cup, brows furrowing in thought of his lip twist. I suppose you're right. His head snaps up then. A smile returns. We should order a fun drink next. Keith raised an eyebrow, skeptical. I don't really know many fun drinks. Keith laughed. Lance sighs, dropping his forehead to his arms on the bar. Oh my god, Keith, where's your sense of adventure? I didn't say I wouldn't. I just said I didn't know any fun drinks. Then he leans over and nudges Lance's hip with his own. When he pulls back, he doesn't go very far. You pick something for me. Lance lifts his head at that, smiling. You're on. Nothing gross. Please. I would never. Then his face takes on a thoughtful expression, tapping his chin with a free finger. Keith waits, sipping his drink and letting his gaze roam over the lounge. It's more full than it was before, but nowhere close to the other rooms close to the front of the club. He doesn't spot any of their friends, but there are plenty of strangers crowding the bar. It just gives him an excuse to be this close to Lance. I got it, he says, snapping his fingers and pointing at Keith. A blue motorcycle. Keith raises an eyebrow, looking back to him. A blue motorcycle? Yeah, he's grinning. You like motorcycles, yeah? Keith nods hesitantly. So, you should have a drink with motorcycle in the name. What's in it? He says, skeptical. Then shrugs. I don't know. A little bit of a thing, and a little of that. I just know it has some blue liquor and tequila. It's good. Trust me. Keith isn't sure if he trusts in Lance's sense as bar strings, but he'll give it a shot anyway. What are you going to get? He grins. A Long Island iced tea. Does that even have any alcohol? Lance laughs, shoving him slightly. Yes, it does, you ass. He lifts his cup, eyes glinting over the top of it. Race ya! Keith lifts his cup. You're on. Lance finishes chugging his drink first, and Keith blames it on the fact that he's chugging soda, and Lance is chugging juice. They order their new drink, and Keith is pleasantly surprised, but he puts on a show of being skeptical just to watch Lance squirm. He loses track of time. They hang out at the bar instead of going to the couches. A couple of their friends come and go, grabbing a drink and chatting before heading back to the dance floor. Lance and Keith stay. They talk about a lot of things and a lot of nothing, shoving each other playfully, and eventually getting to the point where the bar is crowded enough that their arms pressed up against each other. Neither of them make to move. They go through several more drinks, and Keith is feeling it. It blurs the edges of his vision, making it harder to focus. Flushes cheeks, makes him more honest and talkative. Makes his lips feel like they're slightly detached, numbed. Lance doesn't seem to be faring much better. They're in the middle of the argument over who has a higher tolerance when Lance suddenly just stops talking in mid-sentence. It's so abrupt that it catches Keith's attention. He looks up from where he had been about to take a sip from his cup, eyebrows raised curiously. Lance is standing there, eyes wide and focused on something over Keith's shoulder. His jaw has gone slack, lips parted as pure shock is written across his features. Keith's brow furrows, lips pursing into a small frown. He turns his head, but he doesn't see anything besides people. No one he recognizes, and certainly nothing strange enough to warrant that reaction. He looks back, but Lance hasn't moved. If he has to guess, he'd say Lance doesn't seem to be breathing. It's not just shock or surprise. There's something akin to fear in his eyes, a level of vulnerability that Keith isn't used to seeing with him. It worries him, and he feels something clench in his gut. Lance? He says, voice soft and uncertain, then louder, waving a hand in front of his face. Lance! That snaps him out of it. His eyes turn back to Keith's and refocusing. His jaw snaps shut, and he's frowning. He opens his mouth a couple of times, like he's trying to speak, but he's not sure what he wants to say. When he does finally manage to find words, his voice is carefully neutral and barely hiding the waver that's there. Sorry, I need to go. It comes out rushed, choppy, and he shoves himself away from the bar in his half-empty cup. He barely gets a step before Keith grabs hold of his arm, yanking him to a stop. Lance turns, eyes wide and face so full of barely contained emotions, each passing over his features too fast and colliding together, leaving them undefinable. Keith frowns, eyes hard and searching. Lance, what's wrong? Nothing. It's nothing. Carefully and systematically removes Keith's grip from his arm, smiling apologetically as he's already stepping away. I just need to find Hunk now. It's fine. I'll see you later. Yeah? He's already turned away from him, hiding whatever is playing across his face, and he dives into the crowd with a frantic urgency that leaves Keith reeling, staring after him in frozen surprise. He isn't sure how long he stands there, but it's long enough for people to just start jostling him around, trying to reach the bar. He frowns, brows furrowing as he stares down at his drink. He doesn't want it anymore. The taste has soured in his mouth at Lance's abrupt departure. He had been having fun. He had actually been enjoying himself. And while he knows enough to doubt that he was the cause of whatever freaked Lance out, it bothered him that Lance hadn't even told him what was wrong. He had just laughed. Weren't they bonding? Why didn't Lance trust him with whatever that was? He grits his teeth, fingers tightening on the cup as he downs the rest of his drink. It's tasteless and burns more than it should, but he had paid for it, so he might as well. Once he's done, he leaves the cup on the bar and goes to search for Lance. He finds Shiro first. His brother has been let out into the DJ booth, and Matt is busy showing him everything. He can see the smile on his face, while he proudly points out this and that. Lips moving but words lost on Keith. Shiro watches his own set of headphones on as he follows Matt's gestures with his eyes. He looks impressed. Keith raises his hand to catch their attention, and Shiro leans down, removing one side of the headphones to hear Keith as she shouts up at him. He asks if he's seen Lance, but he has asked several times before Shiro understands him. He ends up shaking his head, but points out where Allura and Coran are. He gives Keith a curious look, but Keith waves him off for turning to leave. Allura and Coran are standing along the edge of the room, drinks in hand and leaning against the wall as they talk. They both look up, smiling brightly as Keith approaches. He tries to smile back, but he's not feeling it. He asks if they'd seen Lance, and their expression dropped a fraction. Coran explains that he had just come by and grabbed Hunk before towing him out of the room. And that he looked upset. Allura tells him to check the bathroom, and so he does. turns to the club as several sets of bathrooms scatter around. And not only does it take him a while to find them, but Lance isn't the first one he tries, or the second. He finds Pidge outside the third, leaning against the wall between the men and women's rooms, arms crossed over their chest and a deep scowl on her face. They glare daggers at everyone that passes, holding eye contact until they look away. Out of context, it looks like Pidge is having a bad night, with the knowledge that Lance is probably in the bathroom. They look more like a pissed off bodyguard, and their small size doesn't detract from that in the slightest. Their expression is unchanging when they spy Keith. Hey, they grunt, lifting their chin in fraction and grin. Hey, Keith nods toward the bathroom door. Lance in there? Pidge tilts their chin down just a fraction, but effectively darkens their expression. Yes. Keith takes a step towards it, reaching out. Don't. The sharp edge of their tone stops him in his tracks, and he freezes with one hand on the door. He turns to look at them, brows furrowing. They're holding his gaze, eyes hard and brows pinched. Their lips are scrunched up into a small frown, and Keith knows that look. Pidge is pissed off, but they're also protective, ready to pounce on anything that might threaten whatever they're protecting. In this case, Lance. They stare at each other, neither of them budging, until someone tries to push past Keith. He steps aside as the guy pushes in the bathroom. Keith just gets a glimpse of a tiled corner and not the bathroom itself. He doesn't see Lance, but he catches his voice and honks before the door closes, and their words were once again lost and voices muffled. Keith steps over to Pidge, mirroring their stance against the wall, crossing his arms over his chest. What's going on, Pidge? He asked. And for a moment, he thinks they're going to resist, but then they sigh, shoulders sagging. It's not really my place to say. Pidge, look, I know you're worried. No, don't deny, Keith. I can see on your face. We're all worried. The thing is, Lance saw someone here that he really wasn't prepared to see, and none of us were expecting to see anytime soon, and she f***ed him up pretty bad. Keith bristles, back stifling against the wall. Feels cold, even through his shirt. He feels cold, and it's an odd contrast to the warmth of the club and the alcohol running through his veins. It's an ex-girlfriend, isn't it? He tries to keep his tone casual and neutral, but it comes out far too soft and rigid to be either. Pidge nods once. Yeah, it is. Is this the one that Hunk said broke up with him before his 21st birthday? He's looking at them, so he sees when Pidge's lips curl into a small, wry smile. Hunk told you about that? Keith shrugs, the moment causing his arm to rub against Pidge's. They lean into his touch, seeking comfort. He leans toward them too. Only a little. He was telling me about your first club experience. Ah, that. Yeah, not a fun time. So he said. There's a long pause before he managed to say. So, this ex-girlfriend? Pidge's smile instantly drops, face darkening. Don't be fooled. He's over her, and has been for a while, but she did some pretty shitty things. He was too attached. They were terrible at communicating, and ended badly. It messed him up pretty bad for a while. But he's gotten better. It's just, he wasn't prepared to see her. It caught him off guard and brought a lot of bad things to the surface. Maybe I can't. No! Pidge says sharply, cutting him off. They shake their head, siding and continuing in a soft tone. He needs a moment, Keith. He doesn't want anyone to see him like this. He doesn't want you to think bad for her. I wouldn't. I know, Keith, but just let him have a moment to compose himself. He'll come and find us when he's ready. Keith sighs, shaking away. Fine, he understands. He really does. But that doesn't stop him from wanting to shove his way in there, and he's not even sure what he'd do. What can he do? He doesn't know how to comfort people, let alone Lance. He doesn't know what Lance needs or what would make him feel better. But the memory of Lance's face is drifting through his mind, and he hates seeing Lance like that. Still, he knows there's nothing he can do about it. Truth be told, he wants to go find this ex-girlfriend and get a good look or whatever monster could make Lance, beautiful, shining, smiling Lance, look like that, and maybe punch her in the face. But that could just be the alcohol talking. Perhaps he has some protective instincts after all. He certainly feel like punching whoever managed to hurt Pidge or Shiro or even Matt. He doesn't like seeing anyone hurt his friends, even if it happened long before he met them. Like it or not, and in all infatuation aside, Lance is his friend, though it might be the infatuation mixed with the alcohol that makes him feel like he'd do anything in order to see Lance smile again. But he'll have to wait until Lance is ready. He hates waiting. Any specific reason why you're waiting out here? He asked. Pidge shrugs. Not really. There's that small rat smoking. Maybe I'm hoping Naima will go to the bathroom so I can give her a piece of my mind. Shouldn't we wait somewhere else to give Lance some space until he's ready? Pidge says, hold by something. Yeah, I guess. I'm worried. He puts an arm around their shoulders, pulling them into his side. Me too. There's a long silence, even though they had both agreed that they shouldn't be waiting here. Neither of them make a move to leave. He clears his throat. So, Matt led Shiro up into the DJ booth. Pidge's head snaps up so fast, they have whiplash. What? He told me I'd be first in the booth. Then he's following a small, angry Pidge as they stomp through a crowd. He casts one last look over his shoulder, chewing his bottom lip. Hopes Lance is alright. I'm not gonna lie, guys, this is a terrible thing, and then it goes from dancing to drinking and to find out Lance has an ex-girlfriend. It's in the club and trying to dance it. Let's be honest with me. Let's be honest with this. I am totally I'm not a club person. I'm not like a party girl person. And second of all, I'm not even drink. Okay, because I'm 18. Okay, I don't drink. I'm 18. Okay, I don't drink. And you know, typical like clubs or something like that. God, it's so terrible. But for the Lance part, it's like the story of where Hunk is telling about Lance before his 21st birthday, and he broke up. Oh man, this is going to be the weirdest chapter, but it's just so downright dramatic story that I'm going to read this. But you just keep doing this for the entertainment, but I don't know that typical clubs and just that. I don't do any of those, okay? Because I'm not that person, okay? Okay, just ask somebody else for know how to do clubbings and whatever that is. I'm not into those stuff, okay? But informed in that story, kind of relates it out, and he just finds himself and lands in the bathroom and Pidge's waiting, talking about something, and just wow, that just blew off my mind like that. Okay, let's just get into next part, okay? Before I'm going to read the next part of it, I just wanted to be clear about, the story right there's like basically the word they. So in this particular story, they is referring to Pidge because, Pidge is a neutral gender. Not sure until if this is a she or a he. They use that word they right there. For Pidge. So I wanna to now on you're gonna use that one as a they for Pidges because they are a neutral gender. So we're just gonna point that out right there, okay? Alright, let's move on. Lance isn't alright. Not by a long shot. Not by the longest shot. Not by miles and miles. Hunk! What's she even doing here? He groans, tilting his head back until it hits tile. He's sitting on the floor in the men's bathroom, and yeah, gross. But he's drunk and he's upset, and his legs can't be asked to hold him up right now. Hunk is knelt down next to him, carefully avoiding putting his knees or ass on the bathroom floor. Smart man. He has one hand on the wall to balance it, and the other is on Lance's shoulder. The firm but gentle touch grounds him, but it's much needed support. I don't know, man, Hunk says, voice calm and soothing on Lance's frazzled nerves. Maybe she just came home to visit her family? That wouldn't be too weird. Ah, there he is. Always the voice of reason. And thinking about it logically, yeah, that makes sense. But Lance isn't really a fan of logic right now. But why is she here? He says with more emphasis, gesturing wildly into the bathroom and a club beyond. Hunk shrugs, giving him a small, barely there smile. Lance knows he's not feeling it, but he's trying to smile for him like it's the last anchor keeping him from drifting away into the chaotic storm of his own damn emotions. She was always more of a partier than we were. It's not really surprising that she's here. But Hunk, Lance whines, lifting his head to stare at Hunk. Brows furry and bottom lip sticking out. It's quivering. It's not entirely an act. His eyes are still burning from the few tears he's already shed. Why tonight? It's not fair. She looked happy. Like what happened doesn't even bother her. Like doesn't think about me at all. Hunk frowns then, but it's more pensive than anything. But Lance, you were happy until you saw her, weren't you? Well, yeah, but and do you think about her all the time? No, but then what's the problem? Lance huffs, crossing his arms over his chest and looking away. Why are you defending her? He mumbles the accusation. What? I'm not. And when Lance glances up at him, he sees the offense in Hunk's expression. He sighs, shaking his head. His grip on Lance's shoulder tightens. When he speaks again, his voice is softer, kinder, and calms nerves. I'm not defending her, dude. You know how I felt, how I feel about her. I never really liked her to begin with. Yeah, I know. Lance mumbles, unable to hide the wry smile that curves his lips after the words of the breakup had passed. Hunk hasn't hesitated to give him his I told you so speech. So, you know that I never defended her after what she did to you. What I'm trying to say is that you shouldn't be upset. He holds a finger to Lance's lips, where he opens his mouth to protest. Effectively cut him off, Lance scowls at him. That's not to say you don't have a right to be upset, because you do. But you moved past her, dude. You don't think about her. You've gotten over her. You've healed in so many ways, and I'd see your night ruined just because she's here. She doesn't deserve to have that kind of power over you, Lance. Don't give her the satisfaction. Don't let her bring you down. Lance looks up at him, his eyes burning and vision wavering. Oh God, he's going to cry again. But that doesn't stop him from giving his best friend a small smile and whispering, Thanks, Hunk. And then his voice cracks right as the first tear falls. He hastily wipes it away, sniffling back the snot that's welling up in his nose and wiping his eyes to keep more tears from fully forming. Hunk sighs, giving up his fight and sitting on the floor next to him, wrapping an arm around his shoulder. No problem, buddy. Let it out. And when you calm down, we can go hang out with the others. Lance leans into him going, Oh God, Keith is probably wondering what the is wrong with me. I'm sure he understands. He's a lot nicer than you usually give him credit for. I basically just freaked out on him and ran away. We were having a good time, Hunk, and I ruined it. You didn't ruin it, Lance. I'm sure he's just worried. That's worse. He tightens his grip on his shoulders, shaking him slightly. We're all here for you, buddy. Even Keith. I don't want to talk to him about Naima. He grumbles, smooshing his face against Hunk's shoulder. You don't have to. What if he asks? Just tell him you're not ready to talk about it. I'm sure he'll understand. Maybe. He really doesn't want to talk to Keith about his baggage, let alone ex-girlfriend's baggage, especially since it happened over a year ago and he's apparently still freaking out about it. But that's not fair. He doesn't care. He really doesn't. He's gotten over her and moved past it, just like Hunk had said. He just caught off guard. He wasn't expecting to see her, and when he had, just all the emotions that he'd long since buried came roaring to the surface. It had been too much. It's still too much. But he's getting a better handle on himself now that the shock is fading. He knows he's being ridiculous, hiding out in the bathroom from an ex-girlfriend who he never wants to see again, and who probably doesn't want anything to do with him. And he kind of hates himself a little more for acting this way. Those feelings of shame and self-deprecating hate gave him strength and motivation to pull himself together. He'll be damned if he lets Naima ruin tonight for him. Tonight's all about his friends. He doesn't want to ruin their night either. Oh god, both times he dragged Hunk to a club, he's ended up accompanying him in the bathroom over Naima. What an awful track record. He refuses to ruin Hunk's night again. He had been having fun with Keith. A lot of fun actually. They had been laughing, and Keith had been standing so close, and he had really been enjoying being able to casually lean to him because he's a touchy gay, okay? But the sight of Keith's smile, so close and so entirely focused on him, had been doing pleasant things on his insides. He finds it hard to believe that's the guy he was convinced he hated just a couple of months ago. All of a sudden, he wants nothing more than just be with him. He just wants to find him and go back to what they were doing and how they were like before Lance had seen her. He loves Hunk. He really does. And he can't even begin to explain what his presence is doing to calm his nerves. And he loves Pidge. And he loves how they're so fiercely protective of him, going so far as to threaten to claw out Naima's eyes on the dance floor. He has great friends, to be honest, but he really just wants to be with Keith. Keith wasn't there for Naima incident. He won't remind Lance of what it was like back then. He's new and exciting, and Lance finds it hard to believe that he'll look at him with pity, and he really freaking hopes Keith doesn't pity him. If he does, all Lance has to do is challenge him to a dance off, and the dynamic will be restored. He likes their dynamic. He takes comfort in it. And even as they get closer, that strangely competitive and teasing dynamic is still there. He doesn't want it any other way. Right now, he really wants that. He doesn't know why. Maybe it's the alcohol talking, but he really feels like right now. In this moment, Keith is the only thing that can make him feel normal again. But he's got to pull his shit together before he can go and find him. He's not sure how long they stay in the bathroom, but Hunk stays with him the whole time, talking with him and taking his mind off of everything in ways that only Hunk can. They get a wide array of reactions. Some of them are strange looks, to which Hunk glares until they look away. But more often than not, the guys try to talk to him. It's usually amusing conversation, and it's a welcome distraction. One dude stumbles to the stall, takes one look at Lance and says, "Too much vodka. What's up with you, bruh?" To which Lance replies, "Ex-girlfriend." And the guy just nods. Nearly losing his balance in the process, gives him a thumbs up and says, "Don't worry about it, dude. You're good looking guys. Bitch must have been cray," before disappearing in the stall. By the time they leave the bathroom, Lance is feeling much better. He's still a little guarded and on edge, but he's ready and determined to get his night back on track. First stop, the bar. He's a little relieved that Keith isn't there anymore, and he convinces Hunk to do a run of shots with him. Hunk agrees reluctantly, but only after making Lance agrees that they'll be his last drinks of the night. 3 shots of cheap tequila each later. Lance is ready. He stumbles a little as he walks, but his limbs are pleasantly numb. The beat of the music is thrumming through his body, and he's ready to just dance and forget. His vision isn't necessarily blurry, but it's hardest to focus. As the shots start to trickle their way into his system, any buzz he lost while in the bathroom comes surging back and then some. They find Keith near the DJ booth, standing aside and watching with amusement as Shiro and Pidge poke at and fight over things on that soundboard. Every time Shiro reaches for something, Pidge slaps at his hand, glaring up at him, looks infinitely amused by this, and Matt is just standing to the side, shaking his head and keeping an eye on his laptop. As soon as he sees Keith, his vision narrows down and something that had been tight in his chest loosens. He feels like he can't breathe again, which is concerning, seeing as he hadn't realized that he'd been having trouble before. When they reach where he's standing, Lance throws an arm over his shoulder, placing his other hand on his own hip. "What's going on here?" he says, proud without how casual he sounds, despite how thick his tongue feels. He nods toward the DJ booth, staring at the three there instead of looking at Keith. He could feel Keith jump and then relax, and he can see him staring at him. But Lance isn't quite ready to meet his eyes. Not yet. Eventually, he looks away. Pidge was mad. Matt let Shiro up into the booth first. I think he's now regretting letting either of them up there at all. "Aw, I want to see the equipment," Hunk says, coming up on Lance's other side. He stares at the booth, longingly immersed. "No one ever lets me touch the equipment." Lance pats his arm with his free hand. "All in good time, buddy." Then he shakes Keith a little when the arm he has resting over his shoulders. He's not quite being subtle about using him for balance. "So, Keith boy, my dude, my man, did I miss anything?" Keith shakes his head, gesturing toward the booth. "Just this." Then Lance can see him turn to look at him again, and he's afraid of what expression might be there, especially when Keith's voice is suddenly soft and so feel concerned. "Are you alright?" Lance smiles then, a small sad smile that he knows doesn't reach his eyes, and answers in a voice just a sob. "I wasn't, but I am now, and I will be," he says himself, fixing that smile in place, and looks at Keith. The concern in his voice is reflected in his eyes, and his thick brows are pinched just a little. His lips purse a small, pouting frown. Something in Lance's heart twists, and a warmth fills his chest. His smile becomes a little more genuine as he tilts his head. "Don't worry about it, Keith. I'm fine." His eyes search Lance for a moment before he looks away, chewing on his bottom lip so subtly that Lance wonders if he even realizes he's doing it. "Do you want to talk about it? Or whatever?" At that, Lance throws his head back and laughs. "Keith, buddy, I appreciate the thought, but I really don't. I'm so done talking about it. I just want to forget about it and have fun. You know." And then Keith's expression softened, and Lance can feel him relax a little. "Yeah. Okay, so let's go dance," he says, pulling his arm back to put his hands on Keith's shoulders and spinning him around. Keith almost immediately digs his heels into the floor, turning his head, eyes blown wide with sudden panic. "What about... they'll catch up." "But, Keith, we're dancers. We're at the club. I'm tired of thinking. Let's just cut and loose and dance, for sake." Keith is caught between scowling and looking panicked. And honestly, it's one of the cutest things Lance has ever seen. He's got some damn attractive friends. "Hunk, we're going to go ahead. Meet us on the dance floor," he calls over his shoulder, and catches sight of Hunk looking at them fondly and waving them away. He turns around in time to see Keith's fleeting look. He sends Hunk's away, and Lance laughs. Keith eventually stops resisting, and Lance pulls ahead of him, taking him by the arm and guiding him through the crowd. He doesn't think Keith will just leave him at this point, but touching him, feeling his presence behind him, is comforting. He loves all his friends, but there's just something about Keith that makes him feel better right now, and he craves that. He's grateful for the chance to be alone with him, even if that's in the middle of the crowded club. He's pushing through the thick of the crowd with Keith in tow, looking for a good to stop and claim some space for themselves. When the people in front of him part and he sees her, he freezes in his tracks and grips Keith's arm tightly. His breath itches as his throat locks up. She's beautiful. She's always has been. And no matter how many things she did, and no matter how messy their breakup was, that won't detract from me. She's gorgeous. Her complexion is dark, club lights highlighting the spots where vitiligo has lightened parts of her skin. Her dreads are still dyed blonde, but her natural color is coming through at the roots, giving her hair the same two-toned look at that her skin has. She's wearing a blue dress that fits to all the curves of her body. She's gorgeous, and his heart clenches painfully at the sight of her. She was his once. He gave her everything. She didn't want it, and she broke it. Now she's here, smiling and laughing with her friends, like none of it ever happened, with no clue that Lance is there, world crumbling around him. Hunk is right, of course. He shouldn't let her have this power over him, because he is over her. But seeing her for the first time since their breakup just brings up so many emotions he had thought were long gone. They twist unpleasantly inside of him, fighting with his desire to simply let it go. God, he's a mess. With some effort, he rips his eyes away from her, letting go Keith's arm and spinning back around. Not this way, he mumbles, crossing his arms over his chest. He's not able to look at Keith, so he stares down and off to the side, hoping, praying that Keith won't question it. But of course Keith isn't stupid. It doesn't take a genius to see his sudden change in attitude. When he risks a glance up, Keith's staring over his shoulder beyond him, toward where Naima is. He's not sure Keith will even be able to pick her out of the crowd. He doesn't know how much Keith knows. Hell, he's not even sure how Keith knows that his whole thing is because X problems. But judging from his face, he knows enough. His brows are furrowed, lips twisting into a scowl as he glares at the crowd. His gaze is unmoving, eyes fierce and sparking, and Lance wonders if he's zeroed in on her. Is he even looking at the right girl? Does he know it's a girl? Lance glances over his shoulder, following Keith's gaze, and yep, she's still there, laughing and tossing several locks of hair over her shoulder in that flippant way that he had once found endearing. Feels unfocused. Everything spins, and he's starting to regret those last 3 shots. He's not sure how it happened, but Keith has suddenly taken his arm, tugging him away. He stumbles after him as they weave through the crowd, finding a space carved out. They take the floor. Keith turns to face him then, hand still on his arm. Without thinking, Lance starts to turn towards where he knows Naima's standing, just to see if she's still in view or if they're safely away. But then Keith is tugging at his arm, pulling his attention back. Lance stares at him, eyes wide and eyebrows instead. Keith scowls at him, his lips set into a firm line as he says loud enough to be heard over the music, "Don't you dare look back!" And Lance hunches his shoulders, looking away and feeling guilty. He didn't think Keith could read him that well. When he glances up through his lashes, Keith's expression has softened, the ghost of a smile on his lips. "Just keep your eyes on me." He drops his hand from Lance's arm and takes a step back, already swinging a little to the music. His feet move, driven by the beat, and his head and shoulders bob along with it. His arms look like he's not quite sure what to do with them. He looks like he's trying to mimic what the people around him are doing, but the pain expression on his face makes it look so incredibly awkward. Lance doesn't get it. He'd seen Keith dance before, dozens of times. Keith's always full of confidence when he dances, so certain and sure of his movements. Lance isn't sure, he never knows, if Keith does, because the guy is just so sure about everything he does, and he does it all with such a cool calm. Like nothing he's doing is actually impressive, and he would never do anything less. It's always been frustrating and irritating, but since working with him, Lance has found a strange appreciation for him. It's kind of endearing to see him like this now. All that confidence and calm is gone, not a trace of it left alive. Looks as awkward and unsure as someone who's never danced before in their life. Looks self-conscious, and that's not something Lancey used to seeing on him. He's not sure he likes it. Keith is so great at everything, and Lance doesn't think he should ever feel self-conscious about something he's so incredibly talented with, like dancing. Yet here it is, in front of him, dancing like it pains him. He has the beat, sure, but he's so incredibly rigid and looks like he's afraid of actually doing anything besides swinging back and forth and awkwardly moving his arms. And yet, he's soon under Lance's full attention and intent to distract him, no matter how uncomfortable he is. Lance feels the small smile curve his lips as the touch of fondness fills his chest before he really realizes what he's doing. He's stepping forward onto Keith's space, hands sliding to rest on his hips as he had done earlier. His grip is firm as he tries to wriggle Keith's hips in an attempt to get him to loosen up. He knows freestyle isn't the guy's strong suit, but this is ridiculous. He knows Keith can do so much more. "You're holding back," he says, voice laced in amusement. Keith glares up at him, face twisted into a scowl that he knows so well. The lightning makes it hard to see any sort of blush, but you can tell from the extra lines around his lips and eyes that he's embarrassed. "Shut up and dance with me," he snaps, and it's such a needlessly aggressive demand and so completely Keith that Lance finds himself grinning, and this time he can feel it reaching his eyes. This is what he needed, what he had been craving. Keith just has this uncanny ability to make him forget his problems and just feel like himself again. And he does it just by being Keith. This guy is my destiny. The thought comes unbidden from the recesses of his mind, startling him. He blames in on the alcohol, hazing his mind and making him needlessly sentimental. He's been known to be an emotional drunk, and tonight's been an emotional night. He really probably shouldn't have had those last few shots, but still, that thought has a nice ring to it. He likes to think it was meant to meet all of his friends, and he thinks that maybe, just maybe, Keith is part of his destiny too. Keith helped him get to regionals, after all. Keith drives him to be a better dancer. Keith fits so seamlessly into his group of friends. Keith is the only person who's managed to dance and to deal with him, and now Keith's here, making him forget about all the negative emotions that plague him and letting him just live in the moment. Maybe the D in the room, 40, stands for destiny. Alright, now he's getting a little ridiculous. He's definitely had too much to drink, or maybe it's just all hitting him right now. Either way, his thoughts are getting way too deep and way too emotional and way too philosophical for a club night. So forcing himself to focus on the guy standing right in front of him, beautiful and scowling. Keith stares at his eating grin for only a few seconds before snapping. "Shut up!" And Lance can feel him bristling, embarrassment coloring his features. Lance just grins because he hadn't said anything, but he thinks it hilarious that Keith can reach so far into his expressions. Lance chuckles, and Keith must be able to tell that it's not mocking, because his expression softens. He attempts to smile, but it's so endearingly shy, and when he speaks, his voice is quieter than before, just barely heard above the music. And just dance with me. And so they dance, but it's not like it was earlier when their dances are throwbacks to ridiculous things with wild moments and high energy. Their movements now are smaller, more confined. Lance does move his hands from Keith's hips, and Keith doesn't push him away. His own hands come to rest on Lance's arms, and while they sway and roll to the pulse of the driving beat, they seem to get impossibly closer. Lance wants to blame the crowd, pushing in on them from all sides. He wants to blame it on the alcohol buzzing through his system and making his limbs tingle. He wants to blame it on Keith's eyes, so dark yet flashing, so impossibly purple in the club lights. He wants to blame it on everything, but the fact remains that something has shifted. It's so small, so subtle, so indescribable, and impossible to pinpoint, but it shifts. And suddenly, the atmosphere between them has changed. They're so close that Lance can feel Keith's body whenever he rolls his. And it's not long before Keith picks up on the movement and they're moving together, dancing the same, moving as one. He feels the beat through the floor, through the air, through Keith, connecting them and pulsing through his very core. He doesn't notice that dance closing, but suddenly Keith is so close. He can practically taste the rum on his breath. Their eyes lock. He can't look away. Keith rises, flashing so many indifferent shades and dark with shadows, draw him in, refusing to let him go. He finds it hard to focus on anything else. Everything around them fizzles out of existence as his vision tunnels in on Keith's face, his pale, flawless skin. His hair pulled back in that ponytail that just does things to him, bangs falling across his forehead and stuck to his temples with sweat. His small, sharp nose, those ridiculously alluring lips. He doesn't realize he's staring until his eyes dart upwards, and for a moment he panics, realizing that Keith had seen him staring at his lips. But then Keith's eyes are flickering down to his own mouth, and Lance feels his heart stop in his chest, his breath shuddering out. Then Keith is leaning forward, chest pressing together as he does so. Lance is frozen, unable to move as Keith stares at him through half-lidded eyes. His gaze flickers downward as their noses brush, and Lance feels electricity spark through that small, tender touch. He can taste Keith's breath now, feeling it fanning out across his lips, and he realizes his own are hanging open, parted slightly in shock, anticipation, doesn't know. Keith tilts his chin upward, a small, sharp movement that brushes his bottom lip against Lance's top lip. It's such a small, tender touch, so light and fleeting that makes Lance's chest clench, craving more. The Keith pulls back a fraction, letting their noses rest against each other, lips hovering mere centimeters away from Lance's. For just a moment, time stands still, and he's certain Keith is holding his breath too. He doesn't know who moves first, but suddenly there's lips against his, and is kissing Keith. Holy he's kissing Keith. It starts out soft and hesitant, but eager, lips sliding together, sharing small, short kisses. Probably too wet and far too sloppy, heads bobbing as their lips part slightly, slopping together. Their bodies still move together, swaying to the beat, enslaved to it, unable to let it go. Then Keith's hand slides up his arms, up his neck, carding through his hair, cupping his head, tilting it slightly to better fit their lips together. Out of their own accord, his fingers tighten on Keith's hips, jerking him forward to press them firmly together. He gasps at the sudden roughness, and Lance takes the opportunity to slide his tongue past his lips, licking into his mouth. Keith only hesitates for a moment before he's responding, arms tightening and holding Lance's head firmly in place. Lance's head slapped around his waist, holding onto him just as tight, like he's the only thing anchoring him to his reality. And Lance desperately doesn't want to let him go. Everything else fades away. It feels like they're alone in a ripping, twisting sea with only each other to keep themselves afloat. And while Keith is the only thing keeping him anchored, he also feels like he's stealing his breath away. He's drowning, gasping, and being swept away by those dark eyes, soft lips, a greedy tongue, rough hands, and firm body. It's consuming him, washing over him, and dragging him under. Their kiss is sloppy, messy, and bordering on desperate, lips groping and tongue searching with a hunger that's dizzy. But it feels so good. Can't get enough. In that moment, he needs heat like he needs air, but the more he breathes him in, the more he's drowning. He's drowning, but he thinks this is a nice way to die. Later, after the fact, there will be many things about that night that blur in his memory with time and the haze of alcohol. He'll remember how Pidge came barreling through the crowd to collide with them, starting them apart. He'll remember how Keith let go of him like he had been burned, dark eyes, wide panic, even as he reverently licked his lips. He'll remember a similar panic rising up in his gut, threatening nausea from the unpent time that night. He'll remember the gang gathering and dancing. He'll remember Allura tugging him along the dance floor, but all the while he'd be caught between avoiding looking at Keith and finding his eyes to draw to him. He'll remember how he had completely forgotten about Naima. He'll remember how somehow Keith had gotten a hold of one of the glow bracelets and had looked up at him shyly through his lashes as he slipped it onto his wrist. He'll remember how he had drowned one last drink before asking Hunk to sit outside of him to clear his head with fresh air. He'll remember piling into Pidge's van at the end of the night, climbing into the back seat and pressing his forehead against the window. He won't remember much of a car ride, just the bumps in the road that cooled the glass against his skin, the blur of voices, and actively trying not to vomit. He won't remember how long it took to get to Pidge and Hunk's apartment, but he would vaguely remember being helped up the stairs and collapsing on the couch before passing out. The next morning, he'll wake in pain from both his head and his gut, and he will hurry to the bathroom only to find that he had slept with his shoes on, and Pidge had drawn a dick on his forehead. Hunk will make a light breakfast when he and Pidge stumble out of their rooms, and there will be a little conversation and a lot of coffee. Too tired to scrub his face, and he'll borrow a headband from Hunk to hide Pidge's artwork and head home. Once there, he'll trudge to his room and take a long, hot shower before collapsing onto his bed. And there, suffering between a pounding head and rolling stomach, he'll think about the kiss. He won't remember details, he won't remember who initiated it, and the events will blur in his mind's eye. But he'll remember some things. He'll remember how he thought Keith's lips were soft. He'll remember grabbing him desperately. He'll remember Keith running his fingers through his hair and moaning into his mouth. He'll remember being pressed up against him and gasping for air as he drowned. He'll remember that, at that time, he had liked it. He had liked it a lot. Staring at pale stars in the ceiling, looking at sickly in the daylight as it feels, he'll whisper, "What the fuck?" And then again, softer, with more desperation. What the fuck? Oh gosh, wow. What did I just saw? Alright. Okay, let's just put this thing to clear, and let's just put this thing to clear before we're gonna head out and finish off stuff. So basically, Lance have seen his ex-girlfriend Naima just staring there, but Keith as the one had to focus on his ex-girlfriend. He wants to focus. He wants to focus on Lance. He has to focus on Keith because they had that little bond together and they have that little emotions on the way. Because it's an emotional night for them going to the club, and then they can feel like both of them are dancing together, and my gosh, they went so well, and they're really into the depths of it, and oh my gosh, and after that, you gotta prepare for that. It's a Clans classic. Feel like they're together and they are ready to go. It's like, oh my gosh. And then it wakes up and they don't remember everything, but Lance remembers that little kiss they had through that night. Oh my gosh, what is going on with me? But next chapter, there's going to be more, so you gotta keep an eye on this channel because I'm about to get freaked out for a bit. So, just to keep that in mind. Alright guys, that is the end of this chapter of Shouting Into Me. I'm gonna see you guys next time. Hopefully there's more. Okay guys. Goodbye. Bye.